What? So we can't go live off of Twitter anymore
Why?
because we don't have a premium X account. So they done remove that.
Really?
Yeah, that sucks. Elon, you suck. You are the worst ever. Like you fucking suck.
A lot going on. A lot going on.
So fucking much going on at the moment in time. Like that is unfucking believable.
I mean, you know what
You
I
have
said?
a
I told you about 2 weeks ago. I was thinking about getting it
Hey, I mean, I don't.
because it's looking. I mean, I don't know. I think about I think about a lot of stuff that I do subscribe to or that I do. I mean, hell, just look at what we use for our streaming purposes. You know,
hmm
you. I don't know. I mean, I hate that I'm sound like this, but girl, because there be some shit that I be wanting to do that I can't do, and I be like, girl, that's not fair. I want to I want to do something more. I can't do that. I gotta have a premium account. I'm about sick of you telling me I need to have a premium account. Um, but I don't know. That's a topic for another day. We should have a social media topic and discuss
Yep.
where social media has went to now and where social media could possibly lead, especially with the what was that y'all was talking about last week? And it was like somebody did something with AI. Oh no.
You talking about like changing the faces and whatnot?
Hmm. Oh no. My salad
Yeah.
is really good.
What type of salad is it? As we wait for folks to come on in.
The salad you didn't know the dressing too.
I'm very pissed off right now.
Oh, we know.
Yep.
Like, I really want our Twitter folks to join in on the discussion.
It's gonna
And
make it tricky. We like we do usually go live on Twitter, but Elon said nope. Give me that money.
like this, and
Right.
when did they change? Because I'm 100% sure if I go to my phone right now, I can go live on there, no fuss, no muss, no coconuts, and yet, and yet, and my fucking phone got to charge up anyway, so I can't even just whoop it off real quick.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is super crazy. It is just a lot going on right now.
Yep. How much is a premium account anyway?
God knows how much. 10 dot maybe 14 20 I don't, something egregious. I can
$11.
That's the $11 too many. That is egregious, I'll say that.
But
And
you
then they
gotta pay
want
to
you,
play. You gotta
and then they
pay to
want you
play.
to give your information to suspect organizations.
The basic one is $4.
Ugh.
But
Well,
anyways, the
yes,
reason
let's
why
get
we're
it.
here.
Yes, let's get it started. We are here we have seen the film of all films of this moment in time. We have seen the unrated director's cut of Rebel Moon parts 1 and 2. Part 1, Chalice of Blood, part 2, Curse of Forgiveness, which are the full unencumbered versions of Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire, and Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. And after a year, well, no, it hasn't been a year, because Rebel Moon, the first versions came out earlier this year. Or was it late last year?
Well, let me look at the release date.
So it was either January or December.
The first one came out in says 2023, but I need a release
It was
date.
December.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was December because it was December, and then the second one came out in April.
came out in April. Yep, second one came out in April.
Okay. Yep. So it's a close to well, part 1 was year. And god dang, part 2 came out less than a couple of months ago and released both versions unencumbered this past Friday, and we watched it. And now we're finally here to give you the review you guys have been waiting for, our review on this, and we got a lot to say. What up, Josh? What is up?
Hey, Josh, what's up? What's up?
Yep, let him know.
And let everybody, yeah, Twitter will not let us go live from Twitter because we don't have a premium account. So, Josh, let everybody know that we are here. Just
and
on
we got a
YouTube.
lot to say. It's gonna get spicy because boy, oh boy, me and Avia and me and Mike, we talked about this because I got the book. I'm too lazy to get up and go and grab it right now. But I got the book, and I was already kind of in the mindset about, because how the book opens is very different than how the first version of part 1 opens. So I'm like, if this is truly going to be different, it's going to open like it does in the book. And then when I saw the first trailer and then actually saw it, it confirmed all of those things about what the differences would be with part 1. And there was. Should we get the big topic out of the way first before we go into specifics about each film? Because I feel
What's the big topic?
One more time.
I said, what's the big topic?
Big topic is the state of this whole strategy of releasing Rebel.
The dumbass strategy.
Because they should have just led with these versions like that. They should just. People will sit through. We've seen it. People will sit at home and they will sit through a almost 4-hour movie. We did it with his version of Justice League. We did it with Flowers of the Killer Moon. Like, people will watch an over 3-hour movie if it is good.
The Irishman.
Like people will watch a movie that's over 3 hours if it is good.
Yeah. So I think that I won't say minority because that's far from the case, but I was one of the people who genuinely enjoyed the first versions of Rebel Moon part 1 and 2. I will say that one of the few critiques I did have was the implementation of the slow motion in part 1 in the first version. I did feel like it was a little bit, and I know that saying this is usually bad faith because it is, but I did feel like it was kind of gratuitous because it just didn't flow all the time with the narrative. If it just kind of felt like, oh, scene, good world building, good acting, and then it would just be a action sequence that felt like it was 100% in slow motion and no real action, real motion to it to make it flow better. And that was not the case with this version. It like everything flowed so well, and I don't understand. Like I get that the reasoning was Netflix wanted a PG-13 version because they apparently thought that it would be easier to push to the consumer base. But and I just can't express this enough. When it comes to streaming stuff, especially there shouldn't be your mindset, because how many things we watch streaming wise don't really care about what the potential hangups on of like the ratings or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't get it. Like I get that I get that that's what they wanted to still have, because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Zach didn't get that. Like Zach was, we know, like anything came out like Zach was getting pigeonholed or anything like that, because he still was able to make these movies. And in my opinion, especially with part 2, the differences between the first version and the director's cut isn't as significant. But I still just am like, yeah, they should have just put these out and called it. Juicing the numbers like this isn't it really, like, I'm glad that Zach was able to get something that was successful and was able to, put out something that a lot of people enjoyed overall. But I still think that they, like, Netflix should have just said, make your movies, bro. You made Army of the Dead. That was a very big success for us. We're invested in what you're doing. We know you have Twilight of the Gods coming in. So I just felt like it was very much not the case. Mike?
Michael. Mike.
That salad is good. We should. All right. No. But yeah, that's like.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you're back. Okay.
Okay, y'all are tripping. What? You called my name. I was here and I thought you was saying a point. What's up?
No, I was throwing it to you.
About oh, I just feel about that. I just feel like bad time and bad strategy. I do feel like, and this is just me personally, I do feel like he said his. I don't know. He puts himself in these sticky situations where it's like, and me as a fan, and I do. He's in my top 5 directors. I love his creativity. I love him, like, for real, for real. But I do feel like he put himself in these sticky situations, and for me as a fan, I'm over it. I'd be over it. I ain't gonna hold you. I was over this whole leading up to Robert Moon. I was super excited because we were getting something different. We were out of the past with, Snyder Cut and stuff. So I was super excited to see him finally do something that does not to deal with DC. This is an original story, and y'all know I love space. I love sci-fi. So I was excited to see him finally create something original. And then leading up, seeing all the set photos, seeing all this and all the little teasers and stuff. And then to find out after part 1 we was getting director's cut, I ain't even gonna hold you. I was instantly turned off. Like,
Yeah.
no way. Like, I mean, I think y'all knew. I think y'all knew that I was turned. I feel like I kind of said that, but I don't think I spoke on it too much on the TL because I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to, like, be negative about it. Not saying that I wasn't gonna be negative, but I didn't want to bring that bad energy because it kind of Loki kind of is bad energy when I, as a fan, don't want to see my favorite director's next part of his movie. So, but I was instantly turned off knowing that there was a director's cut, and then I did not watch part 2 because I was over it because I was like, girl, at this point I'm gonna have to watch it all over again. So I'm gonna just wait. um, but the director's cut, love. love. Like that is what I wish I could have seen the first time around. Because even after I watched part one, I said something don't feel right, and but it is what it is. But we was all on one accord with that. Everybody, even the people that reviewed it, we all was on one accord that something didn't feel right about the cut, something didn't feel right about the story because it just felt choppy, and you can tell it was chopped and
Mm.
screwed when you was watching part one. Like you can tell that that scene was literally not connected with the scene before that. You could see that like you could see that visually, and even my head. I mean, watching it the first time, I'm turning my head, getting instantly mad because I said this man done put himself back in this damn position, and it sucks because it's like I personally don't want to be his director's. I don't want this to be the aesthetic of the director. I don't. He doesn't need to do a director's cut every time, but I also have a theory about that as well. But we can talk about that at the end because that could be my closing topic of a theory of why I think director's cut possibly works for him. But yeah,
Mm.
Facts. Yeah. I just, I kind of, like I said, I feel like I was one of the only people like that genuinely didn't have a problem with him doing multiple movies, and especially based off of my own personal opinion on Rebel Moon Part One and especially Part Two, because before I watched the director's cut, Part Two was my favorite. Like Part Two was my overall favorite and everything because it was the culmination of everything. But I can honestly say now, after watching that director's cut of Part One, they're both they now are both tied together, and I do agree that we don't need a Snyder cut to be. We don't need every movie he makes should be released as the Snyder cut, if that makes any sense. Like it shouldn't be, oh, Planet of the Dead, Snyder cut. Like they should just give him the room. Twilight of the Gods, Snyder cut. I already know that executives think that way, but I don't think that that's something that they should. That doesn't benefit Zack. That turns his art form into a gimmick, right? It'd be like if every M. Night Shyamalan movie was just not just a twist, because sometimes motifs do exist, but if it was structured the same way as Sixth Sense in how it builds to the twist, if that makes any sense as well. And yeah, they should have just they I'm happy my boy is getting success and everything and proving the haters wrong. But I do also agree with the sentiment that it didn't just put those movies out now. Put those movies out or not put those movies out now, because that insinuates that they were ready at that time. But when those cuts are ready, let those be the only version and not just try to split it in between or anything, because we want the best version. So yeah. Now that we got that out the way, and we're gonna come back to the subject later, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of it. So I'm just gonna kick it off, just straight up. That was the most sexiest, horniest, sweatiest, hottest sci-fi movie I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm probably I know there's probably other stuff out there, but it definitely. I'm gonna come to that. I'm gonna come to what you just said, Josh. Hold on to that. Keep that right there, because that is a topic we're gonna touch on. But the first thing that stuck out to me is because I knew that the violence in the first versions, the implications of them were like, okay, so when we see this turned up a notch, we already know it's going to be something spectacular. But I personally was caught off by how sexy it was going to be and how much they're going to just really be crazy horn dog farmer alien people. And I know we were kind of woo, he's whoa, they're not woo, whoa, in a negative light, but man, he got the warp space continuum being basically a space Virginia, but now they're so we're gonna give you the actual Virginias in here, and I'm whoa, I was off a coffee energy drink too, watching.
I
that,
mean,
so
did you
I'm
forget
like,
what he did with Watchmen? I mean, it's not his first time dealing with sex.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not his
that's
first
but
time
see,
dealing with it.
like Watchmen, I knew going in there it's Watchmen, so yeah, they're gonna like the comic book is like that. But I'm like, God damn, you got Sindri going from part one, he's giving a nice wholesome speech about community, and then he's like, let's fuck. You know, we're gonna go tonight and we're gonna fuck and we're gonna have all of this, and then his wife is like, I'm like, whoa, let's go, and it is just like everything. Like this is, and I don't think I'm out of line, and if I am, I do apologize, and I don't want, and this may not be politically correct, and this may just be a little bit controversial. If you guys can allow me the room to be just a little controversial, I know this is something I'm not normally, but I just for tonight, I want to be a little controversial and say this may be the sexiest space movie in the history of the world. Just my 2 cents on it. Anything that stood out to y'all in the beginning, like immediately stood out to y'all, because that's what that was for
intro. The intro actually seeing Eris's storyline, because there was a whole hour and like 20 something minutes missing from part 1, like a whole hour and 20 something, and in the regular cut we see Eris is just a private in the military, and we don't really know his background like that, but we see that he's a prince from another planet that pretty much got press ganged into joining the Imperial Army, and he pretty much was forced to kill his father. Like all this, like the backstory of him and him as a character, we're seeing more of him and his relationship with the girl. That we're seeing that, like we're seeing more of Korra's internal conflict of wanting to stay out and not trying to fight, and eventually, her coming to the realization that she's going to have to fight no matter how hard she tries to not, and just giving that room for the story to breathe. Because like you said, the cuts and everything, it didn't feel right. Like the original, it didn't, like we've been saying, like something was off. But the director's cut allowed the film to breathe. And when I was watching it, everything was flowing, everything was cohesive. Like it just made storytelling sense from that standpoint, and it made everything in that world more understood. I understood it better, and that's what, because I was sitting there the whole like 3 hours and 45 minutes, like, oh, okay, like just watching, like, all right, okay, and seeing more time with her, pretty much getting all her allies to come with her to her planet so they can help fight the Admiral and his army, and seeing that developed. And in part 2, seeing each individual person's backstory about how they ended up to where they are. I thought that was cool. It gave each character substance. The part 2 gave each character substance, and it just came the second one just came together so well. And we see Korra's, like I said earlier, that realization of her being fired. We see that come to fruition. We see why she's called the Scargiver. Like we see more of her background as a soldier and how dangerous she is, and we see more battle scenes, and we see how ferocious she is as a soldier. And that all was able to come together so well because of the extended minutes from the director's cut, and it made a great sci-fi story.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say the opening for me, and I kept pausing because I was like, "Ooh, 14 minutes, oh!" and kept pausing. I mean, that opening just made the movie for me. I was already sold with the opening of part 1 just because the opening for part two. I mean, part one. The original cut is not even does not even compare. Like even when we got to the actual beginning of where the original cut started, I was like, y'all cut all of that out just to start it right here. Like, what was you thinking? But oh god, yeah, that opening scene was very. It was very dramatic, very soap opera, and full of emotions and violence, and just it was like that prequel of a stepping stone into this vast unknown universe that we're being dropped into, and finally, fully taking the full story in. And I really appreciate the beginning because it sets the standard of what this universe is and what this story is about. That opening alone sets the tone for the whole entire series, for the whole entire movie. Yeah, I love the opening.
So this is an aspect I want us to talk about because this was something that was quite, I'll say controversial when the first version of part one dropped, and now that we're talking about this, talking about it basically in its totality as well, while still keeping emphasis on the director's cut. I just want to ask y'all, what were y'all's opinions on the Blood Axe twins, their roles in it, and just basically how they what they added to the story or what you wanted to see more?
Ladies first, if you want to go, ladies. Ladies, I think she stepped away. I was very excited for the Blood Axe twins. Let's see, how can I put this? First, that wig that he was wearing has to go. Didn't like it, ain't never gonna like it. Don't want it on his head. Made my homeboy looking real crazy with that dang on dreaded wig. Let's see. Love the female sister down. Love the twin. Love female twin. She's everything. I think I'm more intrigued on her future. I feel like she needs to stand alone, and I also feel like they need their own prequel series. I do have the comic that did come out though, and I did like that. But far as them, I don't know. It was like even in part two. When she finally showed up, I was a little hot about that. I didn't go hold you because I was like, "Oh, nice of you to join us." But no tea, no shade. I think when they do come around and when they do hit the screen, they command the attention of the screen just because of who they are in that universe. I do hate that boy twin got killed. I did not like that. I mean, I understood the sacrifice and everything, but I don't know, something about that didn't appeal to me. It also makes me feel like, well, damn, would he have the opportunity? Does he have the opportunity being rebirthed into something else? I don't know. I don't necessarily, I'm not opposed to that, but I do feel just because of how vast this universe is and how they can do what they do with Noble, I feel like anything is possible. And then I also have to think about personal things and like real life shit. He probably did not have the time just because of his own stuff. And he signed up for that role and was like, it fits in line with my schedule. So I also put that into motion as well. But I do like them. I think they are a powerful asset to the entire franchise. Just because of who they are and what about the twins, just because about who they are and what they stand for. That's why I'm really curious about her future, just because I would want to see more of her in the future.
I just wish I would have seen, I wish I would have seen more of them because I feel like I've heard more about them in the movies and actually seeing them.
Yes. It's like, damn, they need their own little spinoff, no shade.
Right, like show them as a threat, like a true threat to the army. Like show them like just decimating the army. Like, well, I want to see more of them. I want to see more of the Blood Axes. Just messing everything up. Like for the army. Like I want to see more of that. That's what I wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Like Mike, I have the comic. I have the first issue too. I need to go ahead and get the rest of the issues that have come out so far about the origins of the Blood Axes and everything that they stand for. But yeah, I was very sad. I don't want to throw around the word disappointed, but a part of me was disappointed that Big Homie Ray was not in the film when he heroically sacrificed himself. I know, it needs to establish the stakes and everything like that. Not everybody is going to come out of this, okay and everything. Man, just like the catharsis of seeing him whoop ass against like tyranny and everything like that. I just wanted more. You know what I'm saying? I won't lie. We could have got Gunner out of there a movie earlier. I'm not saying that, no shade against Gunner. He redeemed himself over the course of the 2 films because he's really at fault for why the everything was escalating, to the point where they needed to go and get these rebels to defend the moon of Velt. But yeah, I really hope we get more from the Blood Axe twins. I'm a firm believer.
Oh God.
I'm a firm believer that it's not an if but a when more Rebel Moon stuff is announced. So I have no doubt that they're gonna do more with them, and not just comic books but live action and even animation if we're so lucky to get that. So I just really wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see him whoop ass on everything like that. But I will say it was to still see his like legacy, because he's like basically the kind of the like reaffirmation of their what they're trying to accomplish. That was a cool thing to see nonetheless. But I too wanted to see more of Darian Bloodaxe and everything. So let me ask y'all this question while we're on the topic of specific characters. Who was y'all's undisputed fave, and who was y'all's undisputed worst character in Rebel Moon, if you had one, or if you just wanted to name 2 faves or 2 worsts, or however y'all want to get down with it?
Okay, I'm gonna do fave hero, fave villain.
Okay.
And then I'll do Korra, definitely favorite hero, because you had to have some type of character development. Like I said earlier, like at the beginning, she was a reluctant warrior. Like she didn't want to fight because she's been that warrior. She's been on the other side, to where like she's decimated people. She was used as a weapon, so she knows what that's like. But then that realization, like, oh, so these people are gonna die if I don't do something to help them. So it's definitely Korra. And then I love when a villain is evil just for the sake of being evil. I hate redemption arcs for villains if it's not suited. It is not necessary in some cases. Even though people try to recently in the past like 10 years, there's been this thing of trying to redeem villains. I don't need it. I don't want it. Noble is one of the best villains because he has no redemption in him at all. He is evil for the sake of being evil, and I love that. And it's a great comparison between Korra and Noble, and especially when they fight each other at the end of part 2. Like when you just see both of them going at it, and you show that it's like both sides of ferociousness. It's Korra coming to terms with the hero that she is, and then Noble, the aggressive, evil military leader that he is. And as far as worst,
and it's okay if you don't have any worst. I just want to,
I mean, because I feel like each character played their part. Oh, the worst! I can't stand these dudes. The ones who tried to rape the soldiers who tried to rape that girl in the barn, and Korra went ham on them. Ooh, I could not stand them. They were the worst. I could not stand them, and they got what they deserved. Ooh, them.
Big time.
Them.
Big time.
Them.
I guess I'll say that I didn't really have. I do know, actually, that's a lie. I do have worse characters but you guys might tell you that. But I am also of the mindset that Korra was the GOAT. My favorite subtle thing that I don't think too many people picked up on was like how when you watch both movies back to back, you can see how Korra's impressive fighting skills start to slowly refine itself over each fight, and then by the time we get to Rebel Moon Part 2, she's the unstoppable Scar Giver that we all have been told over the course of each story and flashback that she is. So like in the barn, she's a little bit out of practice. Her muscle memory isn't what it's, once was. So they get a couple of lucky shots in, but ultimately she takes them all out with relative ease. Then at the bar where that whack ass alien was trying to assault Gunner, she was, he almost got the drop on her, but more or less she was taking them out with relative ease. Then when we get to the fight with her, the first fight with her and Noble on the construction planet and things like that, that's when it's kind of starting to finally come to fall into place and everything like that for her skills. So by the time we get to the sequence on the King's Gaze, she's just fucking them up left and right. Really ain't nobody giving her no go. She's just like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. Let me get that sword up off you, big bro. You ain't need it anyway. Things like that. And even when Noble, it looks like Noble is got the upper hand, is because the ship is falling and there's really no bearings for that, and she still takes him out the frame anyway. So I love that sort of progression in her skill sets as the story goes on. So we go from Korra to Arthaleus, and then to the Scar Giver and everything like that. And plus, she's just a fantastic character. I always love the tragic characters who have to overcome their past, but still lends themselves to kindness and trying to do the right thing. So rocks with that. Noble OD. Shout outs to my boy Ed Skrein. Ever since Deadpool 1, I'm like, damn, that dude is cold. I like, he is a villain's villain, and I appreciate that. Worst characters are the Hawkshaws, and I'm gonna just say it has everything to do with Part 2. So this is a super nitpick, y'all. Do not hold this in any sort of credence or anything like that. But I did not like the Hawkshaws being in Part 2. I prefer that aspect being cut out like it was in the first version of Part 2, because to me, I was cool with the concept of Korra and Noble being so good at what they do that they didn't need any sort of leg up on what the other person was doing. I like the concept that, Noble's like, okay, well, obviously, if Korra was if the village was able to assemble these folks to oppose us, then they obviously killed the men we had there. I didn't really need the Hawkshaws to be reporting on that for them to have clarification on that. I get that probably from a narrative perspective, people may want that, that line between those two events. But for me, as watching a movie and being invested in it, I'm like, okay, I like that believability that Noble is just so fucking good. He's picked up on that aspect without even really being told that. As well as Korra's plan on how she was going to infiltrate the King's Gaze not being explicitly spelled out to us, because that's just something as the viewers, we can mentally come to the conclusion that, she's thought about this. She's such a high-ranking she was such a high-ranking official that this would be an easy plan for her to formulate, especially with the dead soldiers, and go from there. So them being there, just watching them on the cliff and things like that, I'm like, okay, sure, I guess. It gave Jimmy something to do before he showed up at the end of the fight, but ultimately it was just like, they reminded me of the Knights of Ren from Rise of Skywalker. How the Knights of Ren would just show up every other scene, not do a damn thing. And then when Kylo comes in again, they show up like, we're going to stop you, dude. And then they immediately get washed and they didn't accomplish anything. That's what the Hawkshaws were giving to me. So they take the suck part. But in truthfulness, I loved all the rebels. Terex and Titus's relationship was awesome. Seeing like the nephew uncle relationship between them two bad. They were so badass that they went up against an army with no shirt, no armor, just their abs and their determination, just whooping all the ass, and that never ceases to not make me hype. I'm like, they're like, let's go. Like, it's just the catharsis of that as well. And it's just shout outs to Nemesis for sacrificing herself to do the one thing that she felt she could do.
And I loved her swords. I loved her swords.
So much. And shout outs to part 1 again for giving her more screen time and fleshing her out more. We really appreciated that as well. Loved all of that, man. Charlie Hunnam's character, he can get fucked. I mean, like he betrayed the squad. Even though I will say, and I'm gonna toss it to Mike once I get done saying this, watching the director's cut, this is a straight up theory. I kind of feel like he sacrificed himself. Like he sacrificed himself to give them a chance to kill Noble then, as opposed to going back to the village. Because the dialogue he's talking to Gunner, it's not like triumphant, like he knows like they're all about to be paralyzed and sent off. It's kind of like he's goading Gunner to do something so that they can kill him now. Could be completely wrong, could not be the case whatsoever, but I just felt like watching it back with the extra context and the relationships that part 1 director's cut has, it kind of made me feel that way as opposed to just a regular heel turn. So that's just me. What about you, Mike? That salad. Every time
there's a lot going on.
Every time Mike is not on the line, I'm gonna say he eating that salad.
You don't win friends with salad. You don't win friends with salad.
Core, of course, is my favorite, just because I love her development throughout the whole entire part 1 and part 2. Balisaris, or however you say his name, is a bad man to have all these people working for you and you ain't lift the finger just yet. That is the villain that I'm ready to see take over everything else. Just because you've been away for so long and you still commanding people to do shit, you still, doing what you do. I love Noble though. He was very scary. What else? But yeah, I'm excited for him to be a villain, Val, just because what are you going to do? How much havoc and chaos are you going to cause? And I was obsessed with, in part 1, I was obsessed when we went there and saw when him and Noble was talking. I'm obsessed with that whole entire scene. That was world building for me, like to see that actually happen and they sent him up to the machine and he go talk to him. Oh, I was in love with that. I love that part. What?
I was just gonna go to your point when we were talking about he didn't lift the finger. Like he won. Like he has the crown. Like he assassinated the royal family and that we know of. And he got the crown without doing anything, without really just being like, you do this, you do that. Like,
that was some evil ass shit to have them down. Like to have them come up in there. You got music playing as y'all stabbing the fuck out of it. Like what the that was some psycho. Like some psycho. Like you are a serial killer. You serial killer. Put the knife down. Put it down. Like, oh my God, the way they were stabbing them. I was like, it's a bunch of ghost faces around y'all. What is going on?
Like
that whole thing was sad. Like you literally have music playing as you're like that. I don't know. That was crazy. And then to turn on her like that, even though if that was your intentions and shit, like
that was your adopted daughter, and you pinned the assassination of the princess on her? Is she supposed to be your adopted daughter? What kind of mess is that?
That was crazy.
that was the hardest scene. Like I remember telling because shout outs to Aaron, love you, big bro. Can't wait for you to be back in the fold. When I first saw that OG in version 1 part 2, I was like, that's the fucking hardest shit I've ever seen. Like literally the score of the movie is their assassin is they're hearing that as they're dying. I'm like,
that's called in film there. That's called diegetic music that in the film that is being used in the purpose. It's called diegetic music.
I'm like, this dude, like he's 4D chessing to the nth degree, because I would have never thought like any movie would do something like that, especially in this context. And like the Caesar assassination allegory to that, just man, like I think that what makes Rebel Moon for me so fun to watch, so gripping, so easy to invest itself into, is that you want to see the bad guys be eviscerated.
Yeah,
and this movie does not disappoint with that.
Like he made them bad. Like he made them bad. There's like, that's why I like these villains in the story so much, because they are bad. And one thing that I really like watching part 1 and part 2, the director's cut, it got my energy going for 3. Okay, like what's gonna happen in 3? Because they left some cliffhangers at the end, because it's like the princess is still alive. It's like, what?
Yeah, spoilers. Yeah, and they're not, and it's not.
I thought about that. I was like, if she's the life giver, she can give her own life, or she could be, one of those things in them state of beings that it's like it probably put her in a ball of light and to, cocoon her and, rebirth her in a sense. I have a theory because of what Jimmy said to old girl. I think that I felt like she was possibly her, but I don't know, because when Jimmy said that you remind me of the princess and stuff like that, I wonder if she was reincarnated in her.
That's an interesting take, because I think now that Korra knows that the princess is alive, and Korra's whole reason for leaving because she thought in her whole, I don't want to say depressive, but her whole mindset at the beginning of part 1 of being a recluse and not wanting to fight, pretty much, being an introvert, is because she thought she killed her, and she thought she was a bad person that didn't really deserve anything good happen to her. But now that the princess is alive, she'll have a new mindset, like far as like that heroic, even though she had it in part 2, she'll have a more heroic mindset about, being able to fight. And so I think she's gonna, like, her spirits are gonna be lifted. Let me just say that, like, and it's gonna be more for let's go find her, type of thing. And it'll be a way for Korra to not necessarily come to terms, but also be relieved of the grief. That's part of it. Because if she was that's it, grief. She was very grief stricken.
Right.
In part 1, you could tell that, like, she was very grief stricken. So hopefully, like, as her character development goes on, we'll see. 1, she was grief stricken. 2, she's starting to be alleviated of that grief. And then, from her hero's journey. And then 3, that's when she'll become a true hero.
Right.
100%. And I want to before
it's Sam Josh. I mean I don't, but I felt like that she could possibly reincarnated in Sam. But then I also thought about the girl at the end that was singing at the end of part 2, because she just appeared out of anywhere, and I ain't seen that little child nowhere in the damn movie. And then you start belting out this song like that, and I also maybe thought it could have been her. But yeah, go ahead, Q. I'm sorry, I didn't want to think Josh. I was ignoring him.
Oh no, it's all good. No, I'm glad you brought that. I'm glad you brought that part up. But when shoot, don't tell me I forgot my point. No, I didn't. Shout outs to Wolf, one of my mutes on Twitter. They brought this up. I I wish I'm trying to find the tweet right meow. But they said that one of the reason, like myself, I was confused about the subtitle changes. I know they were marketing the movies as completely different experiences, which was accurate. But I was always confused about the subtitle change. After watching part 1, Chalice of Blood makes sense because of the lore that Cora gives in the during her extended flashback sequence. But Curse of Forgiveness, but Curse of Forgiveness, it's like, oh, throughout the entire 2 movies, you have Eris, and then we see Cora be put into situations where the people that they're having to kill basically against their will, they say that they forgive them. And basically that's the burden of forgiveness and being told by people that you love or people you didn't want to hurt that, we forgive you and we believe you'll make things right. That can be something that someone like that has to overcome and still try and make sense out of. So the Scargiver is a cool subtitle, but I gotta say, when it was broken down like that, that makes I feel like that's what makes it.
I ain't gonna hold you. Them other 2 movies don't even exist to me. There's no shade because the titles now fit both part 1 and part 2. Because when she was in that engine room and that lady told her, "I forgive you," I said, "Oh my God! This is what I want to see. This is what I want to feel. This is what I want to experience. Unedited, no filter. Give me all of it. That whole situation right there, that blessed me. Just because I knew then what Cora had to do and what she's going to do in the future. I already knew then. She is the chosen one."
Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
And Mike, I want to tell you this because this was something I've been waiting to tell you since you finished watching it. So that whole sequence with the Callie in part 2, that didn't exist in the first. That was something that wasn't even remotely hinted at in the first.
Y'all ain't deserve it then. Y'all ain't deserve it. I deserve that. That was made for me. That was made for me. Oh, God, that was made for me. Y'all don't understand how that... Oh. And then when she started crying, when she said my sister, okay, Zach, don't play with me. Do not play with me.
I can't wait for them. I cannot wait for them to come in part 3. They are going to cause some damage, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
I'm so ready to see what the other sisters look like. I'm so ready. Now that, out of anything, now that is what I'm most in tune and intrigued about, is what beings are they? You are so powerful that you can supply the fuel and the energy for a whole entire ship. Like a ship like that has thousands of people and thousands of warships. You have their energy. So where did y'all come from? What is your planet? What is your story? I need that. Now that's the type of stuff that I need. And to tell me that you have that type of Titans already in your shit, don't play with me, Zachary.
Now, I 100% agree, but it's about time I kick it back to the most.
Wrap it up.
It's about time I kick it back to the most controversial thing I said when these movies first came out. It's about time. It's about time I sit back and I give it to y'all one more time for all of y'all out here. So we know that there's different planets, and there's a whole. This goes beyond. Oh, this is like No, this is not just like Star Wars or any other sort of sci-fi. This is clearly cutting out its own piece of the pie and wanted to give it to the rest of us. So I don't know how many of y'all read some of the most recent news on the sequel to the 2021 smash Netflix hit Army of the Dead, Planet of the Dead. But the implications are that it's not gonna be about Earth. It's gonna be about these folks going off world to try to stop what's happening here. So and I said this when these movies first came out, is that these movies, it's very clear that whatever the hell is happening with the resurrection stuff we saw with Noble, that's how the zombie outbreak happened to Earth. But how it got to Earth, we don't know. So what if, and I just want y'all to follow me real quick. I just want y'all to follow what I'm about to say real quick. What if the reason why it's been so long since Planet of the Dead was like is being released is because they're retooling it and they're making it bigger, and they want a more connectivity to the Rebel Moon aspect of it. What if what's cooking with Planet of the Dead is so off the chain, so left field than what we got, that it's gonna blow it out the water? And now that Zach then dipped his toes and got his feet wet and all of this stuff and got Rebel Moon fleshed out with his collaborators and all of these things, what if it's time to yank the sheets off and show us what he really cooking with? Because I know folks don't want crossovers and everything like that, but I'm just saying.
I can see it.
I'm just saying. Let's do it. I've seen in the last couple of weeks, this is unoriginal, just going up for anything. It's always just the most laxative, like it's nothing new. Last night I saw folks talking about how things were slow and they was 8 episodes of a 10 episode season and things like that. So I'm just asking. I'm just saying, what if it was what if this was a setup to something that we ain't never seen before, something we ain't ever gonna see before or after?
No, shut up! Like, somebody want them damn zombies. Somebody want them damn zombies in my space opera. I said it. I don't want them damn zombies in my space opera. I said it. It would be cute, but no, I want
Let
it.
them be separate. Let them be
Them
separate.
damn zombies. Them damn zombies. He wants them damn zombies to be beside them aliens. I can't. I you know what? I remember when you said this. And what did I say? Keep them separate.
I'm just
Somebody want
saying.
them zombies. I don't want no zombie beside Cora.
I mean, it's not about the zombies. It's about the characters. It's about what if
they couldn't even break out. They couldn't even do it one mission. Them people couldn't even do a mission correctly.
Because they in a time
They
loop.
couldn't even do it exactly. They couldn't even do a mission correctly.
Now, peep this. What if, because we already know with that whole situation, it has like teleportation and space-time and things like that. So what if, because that energy came to Earth and created the zombies, that's just a fallout of how the ships operate in Rebel Moon's universe? So it's creating a time.
I'm about to be sick. Please don't make me throw up. I ate a nice salad.
Yeah, we
I ate a
know.
real nice piece of salad. Please,
All I'm gonna say is this.
begging you.
All I'm gonna say is this.
He got to go for
You
it.
gotta go ask George Lucas to give you a zombie.
All I'm gonna say is this. I ain't gonna bother y'all with this for the rest of the year because we still got Twilight of the Gods that's still dropping. So we can't talk. We ain't for the leapfrog over that. That looks fire from what the teaser we've seen so far, and I'm 100% sure when we see more of it, it's gonna continue to be dope. But when we get more info next year on Planet of the Dead, I don't care what I gotta do, what I gotta say, I'm gonna push this agenda, and it's.
So you say you're scamming? So you say you're scamming?
No, I'm not scamming, because a scam is I can't deliver on what I'm promising. No, I am going to push this narrative. It's going to reach the ears that it's going to need to reach. That is gonna happen. So I'm just preparing y'all now for this.
Okay. Okay, I still say you scamming. Still say you scamming.
So let's put a bow on it like this. What was y'all's favorite moment from the entirety of this, from these two movies?
What I liked in part 2 when each character really got to give their backstory. I mentioned this before, but I liked it when each character truly got to talk about their backstory.
Right.
Because that's what I enjoyed the most. They're just sitting at the table, pretty much just talking about all that they've been through, and you get to understand them better, like why they're there, or why Korra and Gunnar found them where they found them, and it's just it was just very interesting, and that was one of my favorites. I wasn't expecting it because it was one part of that hour in the second one that got cut out, so I wasn't expecting to see that, and I was just sitting there like, wow. Okay, because each of them have their own tragic backstories, and it's not just Korra. And we start to understand that it's bigger than just her.
Addie, shout outs. What up, Addie?
Hey, what up? What up?
Some Twitch stuff is coming this week, so be on the lookout. Some Tekken as well, and maybe some new games some new co-op games, something that me and Mike has been getting into, as well as some Fortnite with the three of us. So just be on the lookout.
They ready for that co-op. That co-op game will stress them out.
Yeah, Avia, there's this game me and Mike playing. It's I'm scared to even put it because I don't want you to tap out of video games with this one, because this one will have you on the edge of your seat.
I'm gonna send you some gameplay so I'll show you what it look like.
Okay.
But
I give it 10s across the board. Part 1, part 2, 10s across the board.
10 across the board.
Oh my God, Avia, please make a Rebel Moon. Please make a Rebel Moon fan edit with Heated Plan.
What?
Please make a Rebel Moon fan edit with Heated Plan.
Rebel Moon edit with Heated.
Oh, okay.
Please. Oh my God, I saw them fighting the Heated. That is so funny.
I gotta cool it down, Heated. Eat it.
Oh God. Like I can see them really fighting the Heated. That is so funny. I also would give it, I can finally be honest about this. Like I said, I like part 1. I gave part 1 a 7 out of 10. I didn't even watch part 2. I felt like part 1 was visually stunning, but was lacking in storytelling. We come back to this director's cut, I'm definitely giving it a 9 out of 10. Both parts fit together. Like, it was the best. Mind you, I watched it Friday night. I watched part 1 Friday night, and I finished with part 1 I think at like 3 o'clock. And I tried to attempt to watch part 2 because I didn't have to go to work until the second half of Saturday. But I only got to like 30 minutes where I was like, okay, let me stop because I'm gonna go to sleep. But watching them back to back like I did, and I'm probably gonna do it again later this week or my next day off. I'm gonna watch them back to back, like wake up early in the morning, watch them both back to back. But that first viewing for both of them, yeah, I was blown away. And not seeing part 2, I still think that was the best decision for myself, just because of my personal feelings about it. And with the director's cut, I didn't want to have to. I even told Q, I said I would have probably been pissed off watching part 2, director's cut, after watching part 2, back when I should have. But I am kind of glad because it kept some stuff surprise for me and kept it hidden, and I was able to enjoy it in its full. I was fully supposed to be enjoyed, and that fight between Cora and Noble, that second fight at the end of part two, loved it down. Like to see them gripping and grabbing and sliding and still trying to go at each other, we'll never get anything like that. I don't think we will. I don't even think we'll get a franchise that can touch this type of like.
Speak
As
on
far
it.
as like space opera, I feel like this is a space opera, like in a modern with a modern twist to it, And I think a lot of people want to say, "Oh, it's this. Oh, it's like Star Wars. Oh, it's Star Trek. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's not this and that." One thing you can't take away is originality and creativity from this. I do personally want him to tone back from the slow mo just a little bit. We know you are the king of slow mo. I need you to come on back out of that. I need you to try some new. I need you to try something new that you
Just
can
a little bit.
reinvent
So
it.
turn it down just a little bit. Just a little
because
bit.
it will be certain times where I'm into the scene and it slows down and I'm like, and me personally, I'm looking at him like this is not the time to slow it down. No, like let it fully flesh out. Like let us fully see the cinematic experience of it. Everything doesn't have to be slow mo. You can still use it. This is why I think he needs to I think he needs a new technique to reinvent. And I'm sure he's probably working on something, but I need him to find a new technique because the slow mo is what's gonna take me out of certain things because you're giving me this wide range of creativity and storytelling. I don't need everything to be slowed down. I don't. But other than that, I'm super excited. Like I said, it was a 9 out of 10 both parts together for me. Oh, it's okay. We almost done.
So I not only do I agree with you, Mike, I need BVS Batman action. I need it. Give it to me again.
You got it.
You can look, Zach. Look,
Wait.
look, Zach. Look, Zach.
You had two characters sliding down from a spaceship that was crashing into Earth. Get out of my face, Q, right now. Seriously, because now we've been doing good. Now, don't play in my face right now. Like
I'm not talking about that, Mike. I'm not talking about that specific scene, Mike. Here, listen, let me say my piece before you jump down my throat. When we for all of those for the slow mo scenes with Cora specifically fighting people, I didn't necessarily need all of them to be slow motion. In fact, I would have preferred the fluidity of the warehouse fight for the at least the bar scene. Like that's what I needed from that. I needed that type of visceral nature of it. So the slow motion works in group settings like in 300. I recently rewatched 300 about 2 months ago. Still holds up as a fucking movie. That movie is fantastic still to this day. But I agree. I agree with your overall sentiment. I just really want him to make another BVS Batman warehouse fight scene in one of his movies now. And not be beholden to Batman like having to not really do too much violence, even though Batman was doing a lot of violence in that. But I want to see a completely unhinged version of that with guns and swords and Cora and a bunch of folks that are nameless evil grunts who we do not care about being murdered. That's what I would like to see. And on top of what we've already gotten, on top of what he already has cooking up.
I agree.
Yeah, Jimmy was clutch.
Oh, Jimmy went crazy.
I loved it, and we got to see more of him. That's what I love.
Yeah.
We got to see more of him and his character development as a droid. Like, they're like they should. I'll go back to my statement that I made at the beginning of this stream. They should just let him release this as the original version to begin with. That's what this all comes down to. They should just let him release this version originally.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I think that's the sentiment of the evening. That they shouldn't have. Like they should have just gone ahead and did the damn thing with that.
See. I think we're gonna have to. I feel like we're gonna have to have a because I kept my feelings about Nemesis to myself. Oh, beautiful gals, beautiful gals, beautiful gals, beautiful gals. That's all I'm gonna say. If you know the reference of Aretha Franklin on YouTube, beautiful gals, look it up. But that's how I felt about Nemesis. I thought she was pretty and amazing.
Because I thought at the end, I thought her ending scene was going to be like out of this world. Like I thought she was just gonna go like all kinds of crazy. And
That
then
was
I had
not
a
the
feeling,
person I needed to be sacrificed. Like,
no, I had a feeling she was gonna be one of the ones who was gonna sacrifice. I had a feeling it was gonna be one of them. If any of them was gonna die, she was gonna be one of them. But at least
Yeah.
she would be like with their swords, just going crazy. But
yeah.
I think that for me, I really wish that she had more to do. I like did give her more to do in the director's cut, but I wanted even more. Yeah.
I would have loved
Then the original.
for
Go ahead.
I would have loved for my guy, the prince, the griffin, to fly to him during the battle. Him jumping on the griffin and him fighting on the griffin.
Yeah.
Like that would have been
Epic. Yeah.
that would have been fantastic.
Because I ain't gonna hold you. When Nemesis in the original, I was like, who is this lady? And why is she here? Let's say, like, you just gonna place her in there like that and just flip her down like, here you go, here's another character. I was like, huh? Nah. But seeing her being fleshed out, I did not like her being fleshed out like that in part 2. I did not like that. I was like, damn, who else gonna wield a sword like that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. That's one of those things I was just like, you use a great actress like that. But I understand the assignment, but girl, it was one of those things where it's like, go deeper into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm out. I mean, I'm not out, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I've said a lot.
I done covered all my bases.
Let me give my official review, my official score, of Rebel Moon director's cuts, parts 1 and 2, Chalice of Blood, and Curse of Forgiveness. I give them the sexiest movie I've seen of 2024 out of 10. I'm so glad that none of the children in my house were here or anything like that. I'm glad I did not go with my original idea of watching it downstairs in my living room, because that would have been a big problem. My sister-in-law, my brother would have been big mad at me if and my sister too, because my nephew was here. If they would have saw that would not have been a fun time. And I'm like, whoa. This was, I did watch it back to back Friday. So as a matter of fact, I watched it as I woke up. So imagine my surprise. Imagine my surprise when I'm seeing not just regular people sex, but hentai as well, with them tentacles and noble going on. Just imagine my surprise at good old 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, geez Louise, whoa, this is a little bit spicy.
And yes, Josh, to answer your question, I have to get caught up on season 1, but yes, I will be watching.
Wait, how far are you on season 1?
Like halfway. I'm halfway.
Let me know when you finish.
I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. Trust me, I'm going to finish it.
Let me know when you finish. I didn't know you was watching it.
So
Yeah,
I think I'm
watched it.
I think I'm gonna start Rings of Power 2. That's like one of the main shows I have to start and finish. is Rings of
I
Power.
know, okay. That's your domain. We didn't want the episodes. I said what I said. Don't be okay eyes. We need the episode. Now, don't be trying to push that off on us. That's your job. No, sir.
So yeah, shout outs to, I want to say an extra super shout outs to goddamn fucking House of the Dragon. Shout outs to Acolyte.
Soon, we're gonna do our last part review of the last episode of House of the Dragon, and we got some thoughts. Trust me, we got some thoughts to be prepared.
Boo. I'm so sorry. Shame. No, for real, shame. Like seriously, shame. Sit up here wasting my time.
See. Thank you for asking this question. So, y'all gonna answer this man question?
I ain't hate it, but I dislike it. What you want me to say?
Yeah, I'm indifferent.
Like I even said it last night. I understand. I get it, but I'm okay. And then you want me to wait 2 years, child? Y'all gonna lose a fan. I feel it.
So I'm gonna say this.
not lose a fan.
Girl,
So
I am. Y'all talking about that show by yourselves. I'm not talking about it. I ain't got nothing to say.
So I'm gonna say this now, as the person who is the happiest about Game of Thrones here in the group. I'm the most. I enjoy Game of Thrones. I have the most positive experience with Game of Thrones. I just want to say that I liked what they did. I enjoyed what they did, and I know what they were going for, and I'm looking forward to season 4.
Of course, you're looking forward to it. We know that.
I mean, I'm still looking forward to season 3 too. I'm gonna watch it.
I'm still looking forward, but that still ain't gonna. I'm still gonna tell her that they full of shit.
Shout outs to the Acolyte.
Oh, don't get me started on the Acolyte.
So there's a less than 50% chance we're gonna have time to do a full series review like we wanted to for the Acolyte. So I will just say that I love the series. Y'all hating on it for no reason. Couldn't be me. I know Mike has similar feelings on it. Avi, I haven't really asked her about how she felt, if she's even watched it in full. I know she's seen a couple episodes. Have you finished it, Avi?
I am on episode 7.
Hey, Jesus.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed it. I know Mike, he enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I love that. Acolyte was good. Now, that was good TV.
I'm enjoying it so far. What I'm seeing, I'm enjoying
that
it.
That had me like, je ne sais quoi. Them hoes was mad because they was mad because it was two people. It was a person of color as the damn main character. Like that.
And they could not deal with it. Deal with it.
I meant to say this too about this whole Rebel Moon situation. A lot of y'all just mad because y'all don't have no source material. He got the source material. He has the key to the source material. Y'all can't dictate how he brings stuff to life. Like that's why a lot of y'all not digging Rebel Moon, because he got the keys to the kingdom and y'all can't get in.
Period.
Let him know. That's
just no shade, because a lot of the negative comments I be seeing, I'll be like, oh, y'all just mad because it's not Star Wars or Star Trek or it's not Marvel or it's not DC, where you can go back and be like, oh, well, the comics did this, or oh, the books did this, and even if you did, you can go get the novelization of the movie, and I guarantee you it fits the damn director's cut, like Q said.
It does, literally like a glove.
So, y'all mad because the man actually going by the source material that he created, by his story Bible that he has for this whole universe. So that's another point that I want to say about Mr. Zachary.
It was the perfect point to end on. And that was the perfect point to end on too.
Peace. I think they just don't want Zach doing anything, period.
Yep.
and that's just bad. Like, and it sucks because that's why I say I don't want him to always have to have these director cut moments for him to have. We know he's a great director. We know he's creative. We know what he can do. But it just pisses me off because it's like, I don't want you to put yourself in these predicaments where you have to showcase your true vision through a director's cut, you know? But to each his own. Hopefully they paid him.
Yeah.
I wish he would just go independent and just release his stuff from Stone and call it a day. But that's another topic for another day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
And I will
everybody
leave
for
you with this
watching.
message. Yes, thank you so much.
And before we go, just want to say one more time, we will be on. We got some Twitch stuff walking in this week as well. So if you guys haven't followed us on Twitch, do so. It's twitch.tv/Moldiversity, just like it is here on YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We would really appreciate that.
And tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, spread the word. Like,
Yes.
tell people to follow us, like, subscribe us too. So.
And
Ciao.
and before, and one last thing, you know, when you feel like life is getting you down and you feel like things aren't necessarily going your way and you get a moment to shine, go out there and make a name for yourself. Because you've been waiting for that for a long time.
Y'all ready for us to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine next? Because that'll be next
We
Monday.
can.
Because then I'll really tell you how I think
Yes, let's
that
do
this
it. Let's
movie
do
was
it.
full of